All right, grasshoppers. It's 2:00, the most watched show in all the universes. They'd be watching over in Dubai right now, but they can't get it. They have to be in a boat. All the flooding going on. Molly Morgan, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you, Tom?
Very good. Our new friend here. And again, one more time, what's the name of your company again?
Creative Nutrition Solutions.
Okay, I'll get that one of these days. So if anybody, here comes our buddy Mark Puttenvink.
Nice. Hey, Mark.
Here he is. We're live, Mark, just so you know. So you know. I know you want to make your grand entrance, like you were sitting there waiting and you wanted to just right?
Let's start over.
Drum roll.
We said we're going to do the show from Dubai, but we have to do it in a boat. Let me ask Mark right away. You know all this stuff. Are they doing cloud seeding over there? That is true.
Yeah, and it kind of backfired on them.
Well, they did it for a week in a row, right?
Yeah, but it's terrible. Yeah, they flooded everything.
Yeah. Smart guys. Yeah. Mark Puttenvink from Patriot Training Systems. He knows everything. He knows why they name funeral homes. He knows a lot of very important information. How you doing, brother? How's things?
Good, man. Yeah, good. What's going on? How are you, Molly?
I'm well. How are you, Mark?
Doing well, thank you.
Great.
So I was just bragging. I guess we didn't do a show since we've done a show since I made my homemade mustard. Mark, have I done a show with you?
No, because Monday you were in the city.
That's right. So homemade mustard. So I was just telling Molly the story. So the typical stubborn male that I am, I looked up the recipe, said, okay, no problem. I got it. No, I got this one. So I made 2 batches of it and it was awful. It was just like, it had a real bite to it. You could barely eat it. Of course, then I decided to go do the rest of the research that I should have done to start with and realize that that's just the way it works. And then have to let it sit for 3 or 4 days and then it settles down and becomes mustard. So,
okay. It's got to
percolate. Pretty easy to make. Yeah, pretty easy to make. Put in a saucepan, put water in, your mustard powder, turmeric, and what else? A little bit of paprika. And you can salt it if you want. I didn't put my salt in. Then you stir it all up, get it all nice and thick, and then you come back with some vinegar. And then you stir it up again to make it thicker again. And then you get your mustard. Wow.
Little fermentation.
Yeah.
Fermentation. There you go. Oh, that's what I got to bring up, Molly. Can I ask you a question? So I've got my sourdough starter going and I put it in the fridge when I'm not using it. I bring it out of the fridge, let it sit for a day. Then I feed it again. And then I did that about 2 weeks ago and it came out great. I did it this past weekend and it was tasted fine, but it just didn't rise at all. It rose before I baked it. It rose in the bowl when I put it in the fridge for overnight. But then when I baked it, it didn't rise again.
That's odd because it seems like it should have. One thing I have read is a rule before you bake with it, after you bring it out of the refrigerator, it should be doubling in volume.
Yeah.
So sometimes it might be. It's not that it's bad, so to speak, but it needs more time. It needs more food. So you might have had to feed it for a couple days to make sure it's truly doubling in volume.
Right.
That's one trick I've learned. So maybe that's something you ran into where you should have fed it a day or two more before you baked with it again.
Yeah, I thought but it rose when I put it in the fridge overnight. I got it the next morning. It doubled in size. But
so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I know what I did. All right, we froze here again. I apologize, everybody. We're going to regroup here. 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I thought I had this fixed.
Mark, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's actually better now. I just got.
Well, now that Tom's not here, when he comes back, I haven't said happy birthday to him in person since his birthday. So we got to make sure we do that.
He may not want to hear it.
Hey, birthday's a good thing.
Yeah. Beats the other option for sure.
Yeah. Beats the alternative, no doubt. Yeah. So what's new in your training world? What's the latest?
The latest, so Tuesday, this weather pattern we're in, when you get a good day, you got to really take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. He's back.
I was just leaving, Mark. What do you say? It's better this way because you don't see me?
Yeah.
No, I know you better now. All right. So Molly, we were talking about I think all three of us have really gotten into trying to really have our diets clean, like our homemade ketchups and mustard and all that kind of stuff. So again, a lot of conspiracy theories out there, but do you think like a lot of these foods, like you look at McDonald's French fries, for example, I read an article about that where they will only use the russet potatoes, the long russet potatoes. They don't want any brown marks in the potatoes at all. So they spray them with all these chemicals. And the farmers won't go out of their house for about 5 days after they sprayed the chemicals on it. how was that happening that they're allowed to do that? Mark, I want you to jump on this too.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, you're welcome to go. I think the tricky thing is, Tom, when you dig into the food supply and what is allowed and considered generally recognized as safe and safe to use for consumption, I don't even know if it's conspiracy as much as there's a lot of mixed opinions. And then there's the science component to it as well as to what is safe and what is not safe. And I think one of the really, really tricky things, which we've talked about this a lot too, as it relates to like, are eggs good or bad? So if you've not heard us talk on that, like go watch a previous one of our chats. We talk on that sort of thing. But here's the thing, like when you try to just isolate, like, is this one chemical hurting our health? It's really, really hard to sort those types of things out. So it's not that I don't trust the science that's behind it or think that there's some big conspiracy. I think it gets really hard to sort out. But intuition would also tell you, like, if it can hurt your health by, like, farmers can't go outside for 5 days, should we be ingesting it?
Right. Mark, jump in there.
Well, I agree, and this is why my mantra, I don't know how to pronounce it, is just don't eat it. I mean, if it's got more than one ingredient, really try to avoid it. So by that I mean, if you want to make French fries, make your own. If if you're in a pinch and there's nothing else to eat and you have to eat, make one meal of McDonald's or any one of those commercial chains going to kill you. No, but the problem is the American diet, because of cost and because of the lifestyle people lead, and also, let's face it, they put a lot of sugar in that food.
Yeah.
And that's to get you addicted. And if you've ever watched Super Size Me, which is I encourage everybody to watch that documentary.
Yeah, it's a good one.
He actually became addicted to McDonald's food, and there was a case he followed. It was two women that were really obese, and they went to sue McDonald's, saying, "Hey, your food got us addicted to your particular type
like
of
cigarette."
food."
So like cigarettes, same thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, and again, to Molly's point, follow the money. All this research that tells you it's good or bad or indifferent. I mean, it really, you got to really research the research. And we spoke about this in the past, but you really need to. But again, if you can afford it and you have the time to put, just eat real food. It pretty much makes it simple for you.
But that's a good point, Mark. But with potatoes, for example, if they are spraying them with chemicals and you just want to eat potatoes, you're going to make your own French fries at home, but they still been sprayed with chemicals.
Not necessarily. No, if you buy organic potatoes.
See, I'm not. I trust you totally, Mark. But I don't necessarily. After growing up on the farm, like all the chemicals that are in our soil, that are in our water, even if they're not putting more chemicals on it, they say they're organic. Are they really organic?
Well, okay. So that's a great point. But here's what I want to tell you: you got to reduce the odds, right? So if you're going with organic, and I mean, we're finding now really alarming microplastics in our brains. Even they're finding it. And that's because of everything being packaged in plastic, and it's worse than we thought. And it causes cardiovascular disease, and I mean, you'd have to think cancer as well, because it's a toxic foreign something getting into your body. But yeah, I mean, so you want to reduce the odds, and buy organic. Is it organic? Is it, again, even source that. Like when I buy my proteins, my meat in particular, I look to see it may say organic. It may say no antibiotics used or steroids used. Is it free range? Is it not free range? There's a lot of factors, and you need to kind of, again, it's more expensive than the commercial foods, because they have to go through all this process of proving to the FDA that it is truly organic.
Do they really?
Sure.
That's why.
That's why the cost of proving you have an organic product is higher. The organic product's going to be higher. And you would think that the government would step in and say, no, we want to, we talk about healthcare in this country, and it's not really healthcare, it's sick care. Because if we truly had healthcare, they would make organic foods cheaper than the processed foods. Right.
Yeah. Here's a good point. Here's our new listener here, Dan De Palma. And don't use seed oil. Okay, let's get into that. Molly, why are seed oils bad?
Well, I'm really glad that got brought up. So, what's interesting about seed oils is it's not so much that seed oils are bad per se, but kind of back to the sugar that's put in everything. So the amount of processed oils that are in different products that we're buying, there is some research out there that shows that seed oils can increase inflammation in the body. Um, However, there's also research, good research, that shows seed oils. So when we say seed oils, I guess we should clarify too for folks listening that might not be familiar. So like canola oil, for example, comes from a seed. That's a seed oil versus olive oil, which comes from the first press of the olives, which doesn't come from a seed per se. So just to be clear of when we're talking about seed oils, what we're talking about. But there's also really good research that shows that canola oil is heart healthy. It's an unsaturated source of fat. And this is where I think it's really hard and confusing. And I'm going to be crazy and throw butter into the mix, which I know isn't about seed oils. It's if the only fat you consumed all day long was seed oils poured over everything, it's going to be bad news. If the only fat you consumed all day long was butter poured over everything, it's going to be bad news. Olive oil puts you in a little better light in terms of inflammation and fat profile, but it's still, depending how much energy you need, it's still a ton of calories, and you do need to be mindful of that. So my long answer to a very simple question is I truly don't think seed oils are evil. It's like French fries deep fried in seed oil. I don't care if you deep fry them in olive oil or deep fry them in butter. It is still taking a absolutely wonderful for you plant food, saturating it with fat. And I really think that would never lead to good health outcomes. So I don't think it's so much that seed oils are evil. It's that how much they're used in our food supply. And that's really the more important message, I think, than like seed oils are evil.
And that's what the fast food chains like McDonald's, they use seed oils too.
Yeah, pick up any package of most any processed food, like crackers, for example. There is going to be some sort of canola oil, seed oil, some sort of oil likely used in those. They're so widely, kind of like Mark was saying with sugar. It's in everything. A lot of salad dressings we use now are made with seed oils versus if you make your own salad dressing at home, you can use avocado oil or olive oil and have a more nutrient-rich oil. So it's not that seed oil is evil, I don't think. I think it's the pervasiveness of it in our food supply. And I think in moderation, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it can't be, you shouldn't be drinking seed oil.
No. Hey, Mark. So I used to be a believer, Mark, that if you fried food, okay, so the old theory was fried food fried properly isn't necessarily bad for you. So the idea is you get the oil to a high enough heat and then put in your potatoes for French fries, for example, then it's not absorbing as much oil. Is that true?
I can't tell you either way, but I do.
I can tell you that, but go ahead, Mark.
Well, going back to the seed oils, like everything else, it comes down to dollars and cents, and it's how the seed oils are pressed. And certain manufacturing of it, actually, they're almost rancid, and that's where a big problem has occurred with understanding seed oils. Are they safe or not? Yeah, go ahead.
What's that, Molly?
Oh, I thought you guys froze.
Oh no. So
concentrating.
The cold pressing methods and the different methods you have to look into how that seed is extracted, the oil from the seed is extracted, and again, it comes down to dollars and cents. And generally speaking, the cheaper way to go is always the most rancid way to go. And I just take the guesswork out of it. I just use olive oil and avocado oil. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I buy this mayonnaise. It's expensive. It's not cheap. I mean, $10 for a little thing like this, but the mayonnaise is made from avocado oil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And again, I don't use a lot of it. Like I used to be one of those guys when I made a sandwich, I put like literally a gallon of mayonnaise on it. Oh yeah. And now I find that you just need a little bit, and I mix it with some mustard, and I put it on my salmon, or I put it on my hard boiled eggs. But again, it's we over consume even with what we're adding to our foods, right, Molly? I mean, we over saturate things with flavorings and lose the appreciation of what we're eating.
So Molly, jump in then the heat for the oil. Is that really true? It absorbs less? It's heated properly?
Yeah, so there is truth to that. And there's good food science that also shows like how much oil is absorbed when the oil's at proper temperature. And I think one of the cool things about the evolution and I think availability of the air frying method, it's really just convection heat,
Yeah.
right? That it's a wonderful way that you can mist your foods with some olive oil at home, get that kind of crispy texture that you might be craving with a fraction of the added fat and calories.
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like so yes, absolutely. Oil to the proper temperature will absorb less fat into the food.
All right, here's a couple of questions here. Let's go. Does seed oil protect against fluoride toxicity?
I can't speak to that. I have no idea.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as, hey, Tom, if I can interject on the frying. So what I do is my method is I'll say tonight I'm going to make Brussels sprouts. I'll boil them, right? Then I'll take them off. I'll throw them on ice so they stop cooking. And then I'll heat up the pan with some olive oil and I'll flash fry them just to give it some texture, right? And I'll add some flavoring, maybe a little barbecue sauce. So what I'm saying is it's not truly frying from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
I just finish it off with a real quick flash fry in some olive oil.
Right. So it's not sitting there soaking up the oil.
Yeah, well, it's not the matter. It's not so much concern about the soaking up the oil. It's the frying, the changing of the structure of what you're eating. Okay.
So here comes a good question from our buddy Dan DePalma. Olive oil flips to trans fats if fried. Accurate? Do we believe that?
No.
It's not true.
Trans fatty acids. So if you look at margarine, if you didn't have trans fatty acids injected into margarine, it's liquid. It makes something solid.
Can I give the food science lesson quick?
Yes, all right. Jump in there.
All right. I used to be able to draw this chemical structure but drawing it is regardless. But literally to change a liquid oil to a trans fat, it changes the hydrogenation of the fat molecule that makes it solid. So they literally whip oil with hydrogen that changes the formation of the fat molecule that takes a liquid oil and makes it into a solid like margarine. So back to the great question about doesn't olive oil turn to trans fats? If you hydrogenated olive oil, I'm like 99.9% sure you could change it into a trans fat. But literally trans fat flips the formation of the hydrogen molecules, and it's a molecular change that's happening with the oil is why it changes to the different texture.
So with avocado oil or olive oil, you can use it for multiple sources. Like if you want to make a salad dressing or fry foods, you can use both those things.
Yeah. Can we talk about olive oil for 1 second? Because I think it's kind of fascinating.
Yep.
So have you ever noticed when you go to buy olive oil, there's like different colors of olive oil? Some say light, some say first press, and like, what does it all mean?
Extra virgin.
Extra virgin. So extra virgin is from the first press of the olives. It's the most nutrient rich, and you should buy it in a dark colored bottle. It's worth the money because the dark colored bottle actually protects the light from breaking down the oil. Okay. So that's why it's the most expensive.
I'll give you a smart answer. Why do they call it extra virgin? Like, isn't like, can you be an extra virgin or is you're a virgin or not, right?
Oh, that's a good point. I've never really, maybe it's something to do if anybody has any like Greek language, it's probably something in lost in translation.
Obviously I'm like 12 years old, right? I have to bring that up, right?
Yeah. Maybe 16.
Yeah, that's giving it a stretch right there. Yeah.
But the color of the bottles is really critical. I mean, you want to get the brown, not the green. And that's even it's not on olive oil, but if you drink beer, you'll notice there's brown bottles, there's clear bottles.
Oh, yeah.
There's green bottles, and
Yeah.
it affects to Molly's point how it can change from light. It can change the structure of the fermentation and everything else like that.
I bring up an interesting point here. So alcohol, right? Obviously, overconsumption of alcohol, same thing with all these other stuff. It's not good for you. Is there any alcohol that has like some people say, well, red wine can be good for you a little bit. It's got some good, or if you're going to drink tequila, you have a clear tequila. Any truth to that at all? That there's any health benefits? We're begging here.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, there absolutely are. And it's the same reason like grape juice has antioxidant benefits. It's that beautiful dark color of grape juice or red wine that gives you, it's anthocyanin is the big fancy name, but that gives you that heart healthy benefit.
Oh.
So you don't have to have the red wine to get the benefits. You can buy 100% grape juice and have a small glass, more sugar, but and white wine also, it's different antioxidants, but has antioxidants. Beer, there are some minerals present in beer and vitamins. The problem is, like you were saying, Tom, is it's not for men. This is a sad number. I'm going to share it out there, but moderation is considered 2 drinks per day. And that doesn't mean like save up Monday through Friday and have 10 on Saturday. It means your liver only can process so much and handle so much. And it, obviously can lead to so many big problems down the road if consumption's excessive. But yeah, there's benefits.
How about tequila? Nice clear tequila?
I don't know the difference about clear tequila versus like an agave tequila that's a darker color. I don't know why the clear would be more nutrient rich. I'd have to look into that. And Mark, maybe I'm not sure.
I don't know the difference in the colors, but there's some literature that says there's some probiotic benefits to it. But the problem with alcohol in general, it is poison, and your body can't recognize it as a fat, carbohydrate, or protein, so it'll immediately just store it. It causes fatty liver. Again, this is overconsumption we're talking about. But the red wine, there's resveratrol, which is a really powerful antioxidant. And again, to Molly's point, you can get the same thing from drinking a glass of grape juice. You just,
I'm such a sucker. I'm a sucker. I got a guy at the liquor store that he goes to. He sells the liquor. He goes to all these shows, and they talk about and he says, "Oh yeah, Tom, this clear tequila is better for you." So of course I listen to him. Right?
It might be. There's probably something out there. Though, I have to tell you, I don't know if you guys have tried this. I don't think we've talked about this. There are so many actually. Like I genuinely love the taste of beer. I love beer, ice cold beer. I love Guinness. I love light beer. Anyhow, I like beer.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times, so after I get done with a mountain bike ride, there's something about, a delicious ice cold beer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Skiing too. I don't know what it is about skiing.
Okay.
After skiing, I like to have a beer, but I don't necessarily want the alcohol. And there's one brand, I'm not like an ambassador or anything, but Athletic Brewing.
Oh.
It's non-alcohol beer that is absolutely delicious. And if you truly enjoy the taste of beer, but are like, I don't want the hangover, I don't need the alcohol, it's a fantastic, I think, alternative. And I'm so thankful that there's so many great brands coming out with these options. So you can be out socially and, have something like, I don't want to drink soda, it gives me something to drink other than water, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
Guinness makes Guinness Zero.
Yeah.
What's the point? I'm just kidding. I'm sure.
You have to love the taste of beer in order to do it, but I genuinely like the taste of beer.
I agree. I'm a smart ass. Yeah. No question. Yeah. There's something else I want to touch on too, as far as food. But there, a girl here, Robert Fisher. Actually, he's from Marquette, Michigan. This young gentleman here, where I went to school. Recently, doing studies have suggested that fluoride is a human development neurotoxin that reduces measures of intelligence. You're placed in the same category as toxic metals. Wow, interesting.
I think the fluoride thing is going to be an interesting public health situation in that, our water supply, if you're on public water, you likely have fluoride in your water to prevent mineral decay in your teeth. And the theory is that's helpful. But, to his point, sometimes it's hard to study these things in isolation. Like, what is that doing to our bodies over 30, 50, however many years of exposure? It's hard to study that sometimes. And decisions get made, I think, always with good intent. That's the optimist in me.
Yeah.
But
Mark, do you drink filtered water or what do you drink?
Just filtered water. Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting how things change over time. What we thought was bad, we sometimes find out isn't bad. It's actually good for you. We find we're doing things that we think are good for us. We find out that they're bad for us. I'm about halfway through a book called Tripped, and it has to do with LSD. And the history behind the discovery by Sandoz in Switzerland, Dr. Albert Hoffman, and goes through the whole history of it. It's very interesting. But the point is that, for reasons that I won't get into, they made it illegal, and they didn't do the research to see how it can be used medically. And we're finding out now, excuse me, that it actually microdosing. We've talked about microdosing in the past with mushrooms, but with LSD, which is really from ergot, which is like fungus on certain wheat, and that they can use it for Alzheimer's because it re-energizes the neuroplasticity in the brain. It's a very interesting book, and if you remember the Salem witch hunt, right? The trials.
Yeah.
They're finding out now that it was the rye bread that they were eating, and they were tripping on it because it had ergot in it, which is the main ingredient when they manufacture LSD. And so these women were making bread and feeding it to people, and people were seeing like stuff and they're going, these are witches, these women. And that's really what it was. Yeah. So it's an interesting book for a lot of reasons, but yeah, so that's kind of where they're at with that right now.
My first wife made rye bread too. That's
probably what happened.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, I should say it. That's the mother of my kids. So I should not say that. That's not nice. Not nice. Now, Molly, you got to go at 2:30. Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. I could talk forever though. So.
Oh no, it's good. Yeah, no problem at all. I know you're busy. You got your new job going. How's that going?
It's going great. I'm enjoying the challenge. Being a marketing director and helping people get access to healthy food who need it feels pretty rewarding. But there's so much need. That's the challenge. There's a lot to tackle. But
one quick question: I'm going to make chicken wings this weekend. Is the skin on chicken and turkey bad for you?
It's high in saturated fat, but some saturated fat's not the end of the world.
Okay. Like if you I love that. I do really love the skin on chicken. If you get a nice crispy and everything like that, it tastes good. Yeah. Mark, how are you? You don't?
Yeah, I mean, sure. But again, it's like I'm not eating the whole chicken. So when I have my chicken breast, I prefer it with the skin on. I think it's a much more flavor.
Yeah.
What's your recipe, Mark? What's your chicken wing recipe?
I don't have a chicken wing recipe. I buy organic chicken breasts. And basically, Kinder's, which is a really good,
spices.
Yeah,
love their spice blends too.
Yeah.
There's so many great ones out there, and just put some on that, and I put it in at 425 for about probably 40 minutes,
right?
And it's organic. It's on the bone, which I think is important for the taste, and it's so ridiculously simple, and yeah, it's so good. Yeah. So but anyhow, there's skin on it, and it's not a lot.
So do you, excuse me, do we do a dry rub first and then bake it, and then you come back, you want to use some kind of sauce, you put it on after, and you don't put it on. There's some theories that if you put the wet rub on and then cook it, it does something to the skin or to the chicken or something. Is that true, Molly?
Yeah, I would say and probably if there's any barbecue folks listening, there's wet barbecue versus the dry rub theories. I think it also comes down to a bit of preference. I don't think it hurts the chicken per se, but definitely it changes that texture, and you don't get that crisp on the skin if you have the skin there, as you would with a dry rub.
Okay.
So when I do the chicken in the Dutch oven, so it's an hour with the lid on, and then you take the lid off, and then you drizzle some olive oil on top of the.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then you put it back in uncovered for another 30 minutes, and that really kind of brings it all together, crisps.
You a chicken wing person, Molly? You make them for the family?
I do. My husband, we actually have a outside burner, and he will do a couple times a year for something fun. We'll do chicken wings and and some French fries type. Otherwise, the other way I do chicken wings is in the air fryer. Just drumsticks with seasonings, and then our boys each toss them in whatever sauce they prefer, my husband, and then I make myself some very exciting, delicious tofu bites. So.
There you go. All right. Love that. All right, Molly, on that note, you're gone. You're out of here. 2:30.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great weekend.
See everybody next week.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Oh, chicken wings. Oh. See, you know what I've been doing, though? Here's the problem. I've been going to Costco getting the frozen chicken wings, thinking that's more convenient. The whole thing comes out, it's not that good. So I get some fresh chicken wings.
Yeah, I think when you like with meat, I don't know if I do chicken frozen. I don't know. I don't even know if they, but Dinosaur Barbecue in New York City, they make their wings. They bake them. Oh man, they're good.
They got them up in Stanford too. Oh man, that's a good spot. That Dinosaur Barbecue. Ooh.
Yeah, really good stuff. And then in Buffalo, of course, Anchor.
Yeah,
I mean they're the original. Yeah.
So they do butter. Like, don't they? They bake them up and they put them in a sauce of butter and a little spice.
I don't know exactly how they do it, but they're good.
Oh yeah, I think what it is too. So they bake them, put them in the sauce, let it sit for a few minutes, put them back in the oven for a little bit to crispy them up again.
Could be.
Oh God. Man,
the
locker room. We used to go up to Buffalo, so every night before everybody's in there eating Buffalo wings. Next morning in the locker room,
pretty bad, right? Well, I used to sneak in early before the game ended because they had three different. They had the regular wings, they had teriyaki, and then they had Italian.
Oh, that's right too. Oh.
So I'd break in there before the game was over, make sure I got my fair share.
Same thing. River up in Quebec City, get the hot dogs up there.
What was it? Not Harvey's. What's the ones in Montreal? I'm not a hot dog guy.
It was right in the Coliseum, the Quebec Coliseum where we played.
Best hot dogs ever.
Oh, something about the bun or something. I don't know.
The bun. It was like a buttered bun or something. Yeah.
Same thing. Guys after the game be racing to get. They'd hold the place open a little bit and we'd get some hot dogs.
No one cared about the game. We just got to get the hot dogs.
The Chez Chaud, French Chez Chaud hot dogs. Yes. Yeah. All right, brother. Good to see you again. Very informative show. I like doing this stuff. We're talking about foods. Have a fantastic weekend. How are you doing? What's going on for the weekend? What's the plans?
Tomorrow is a training day. Sunday, I'm going to go for a hike in the morning. Yeah.
Oh, have you got your stuff out there? Like with the, weren't you going to get some equipment out in the woods there?
Yeah. So I went to the hardware store and I bought some eye hooks. And what I do now, I find a dead, log somewhere.
Right.
I put the eye hook in there and then hook up my sled pulling belt to it.
Oh, nice.
And I go running around in the woods pulling logs.
There you go. Nice. That's excellent. Oh, being outside, working out like that.
I tell you, Tuesday, I was beginning to say, the weather's so miserable.
Yeah.
When you get a nice day, I said, you know what? So I really only intended to do like maybe a 2-mile hike and ended up doing 6.5 mile hike and a lot of elevation. And Wednesday when I got up, I went, wow, I feel like in the squat rack for a day. But yeah, it was good. And it was beautiful out.
Real quick, we'll get going. But I want to talk about the cloud seeding. Like I thought that was just a concept in the past. My son was saying to me that they actually have it. They have it patented.
Yeah, so they've used it militarily.
Wow.
But Dubai, because it's Dubai, and I guess they overdid it because
I read an article. They said it's 7 days in a row.
Yeah, They kind of went a little bit crazy there with it.
The videos of the flooding is just incredible.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
I guess the soil is just not used to absorbing the
water.
Right?
And I might be wrong, but I think they had a time so like you knew when it was going to rain. So you didn't plan like a golf outing or something, whatever.
So they can do that over here, so they can control when it rains.
Maybe they are. I know, because this weather pattern we've been in for the past few months, it's like just 5 days of gloom and doom, a day or two of sun, and then right back into it like now.
I saw a video of this woman from Boston. She had the Boston accent and everything, and she was talking about the same stuff. It says every weekend, all year long, it's rained all weekend. Like, stop with the cloud seeding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I really was naive. I thought, okay, I heard the concept, but I didn't understand that they had gotten to the point where they.
I mean, there's even some people think that the HAARP up in Alaska, which is this huge area out in the middle of nowhere where there's like they think they're controlling the weather with this device up there. Just Google HAARP, HAARP. Yeah, it's an acronym for something because we love acronyms.
As you know, I get stuck in these reels on Instagram. I don't know if it's a good thing. I feel like I'm learning new things, but then I'm also feel like, geez, what the heck's going on in this world?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I have a lot of good friends that are willing to believe a lot of conspiracy, not conspiracy, but different thoughts. Yeah. And they're pinging me all the time with all this stuff. And some of it's kind of concerning, and some of it you go, well, I don't know.
I saw another video talking about how Chinese are going to invade Taiwan.
Well, that's going to happen.
And it's
gonna
either
happen.
they're either going to do it by the air or I can't remember the other way. It's talking more like a technological kind of thing.
Yeah. So there's a guy, I forget, Gordon Chang, his name is. He's on Fox. He's a Chinese dude, but he's locked into everything they're doing. And he's saying April, maybe it wasn't him, but somebody was saying April or May. It's a weather thing. They're waiting for better weather. And that's when they're going to invade.
And this guy was saying a lot of it is because of the chips that are manufactured in Taiwan. The electronics.
Chips, and also their end goal is to control the South China Sea, and they've been building artificial islands to that point.
Right.
They actually, they build islands.
So then they'll take over Philippines, Thailand.
Yeah, they want the
Singapore.
Philippines, and they eventually would like to take Japan, and that's a big issue. Obviously.
So and once they take Philippines, it's easier to take Japan after that. Right.
World War II is pretty much about what was going on there, except there was the Japanese trying to do it. Yeah.
Oh God, we don't really realize we're already at war, right?
We're at World War III right now. I don't know why people don't
It's
understand.
just
that,
not. It's not like war more than anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty. We're in a pretty tenuous position right now, for sure.
Well, we got good leadership, though.
You know, he did say we got to choose between freedom and democracy.
There we go.
What?
I know.
And
So,
then
the videos they show of him talking are hilarious. When they put those compilations together of him mumbling the words,
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. When he was going on about his uncle being eaten by the cannibals.
Yeah. And what was he saying? In the Civil War, the problem was we didn't have enough aircraft or something. He was saying it was
Well,
like,
he was right. We didn't.
oh man, it's entertaining.
Yeah, it is.
Stuff.
Yeah. At this point, what can you do?
You could go on forever, just like shaking your head, like this is something cool. And then Trump's on trial all the time now. So
yeah, it's his new job. Now it's like a hobby. It's a hobby for him. Yeah, it's a reality show. It's his new reality show.
I got a guy. He's not a really close friend of mine, Joe Tacopina. You probably remember him. He's got the slick back. So we were going to get in the Asian business together, and we were just. Joe's a great guy, but he told me when we started, he goes on Tacopina time, and I thought he was just joking around. Like I like to go, you're there, say at 10, you're there at 5 minutes to 10, right?
Yeah.
So we went to a meeting one time, and he was like 3 hours late, and I really think he did it on purpose. Like he wanted those guys who wanted people to sit around waiting for him. So that relationship didn't go too well.
So you understand, who's in charge.
Yeah, but he's on Trump's team on his.
I don't know if he still is, but he was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's on ABC Radio every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
We have him on.
Yeah.
And
fun guy. He's a fun. But we were out in the city one night, went to dinner, just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Myself and his partner were out there, and he goes to the back of his BMW, pulls out. He's got a big stack of I think it's Esquire magazine, and he's got an article in there about himself. He's got signed copies. He wants to give me a signed copy. Esquire. Said,
we're good.
Yeah, just give that to somebody else.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Good to see you. Have a fantastic weekend. All right, brother.
You too. All right, man.